Hey folks, Dr. Gerstmar from Aspire Natural Health. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you happen to be listening to this. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I wanted to talk today about drugs, right? There's a lot of opinions that people have about drugs. Now, this may or may not surprise you, but when I graduated from medical school, I was actually very anti-drug. At first I decided that it doesn't matter if I could prescribe drugs or not, I would never use them. If someone needed them, I would send them to another doctor to get those drugs done. But that isn't how we work around here. And for the first little while when I practiced, I did so without any drugs. Thankfully, I kind of quickly came to my senses and realized that drugs are simply tools. Hopefully most of us don't look at certain tools and say those tools are bad or that approach is bad. If we need to fix our house, we don't say things like that drill is bad or that saw is bad or, I only use whatever, a manual screwdriver, not an electric one. I don't think many of us do that. But of course, when it comes to health, a lot of us do say things like that. We've had people say, there is no way, no matter what, that I'm going on drugs. And I believe that is a very misguided approach. Now, look, we have to recognize the true pros and cons of any tool that we're using. Now, whether this is diet, whether this is supplements, whether this is drugs, whether this is surgery, whatever the case is, we want to look at it from pros and cons. And remember, one of our bigger overarching principles is this: context matters. Context matters. So simply put, drugs may be the right choice for one person because of a certain situation, either their health or their life or whatever the case may be, while it may be a poor choice for another person. All right, with that background in place, what we're going to talk about today is the fact that drugs make you not sick, they don't make you healthy. So let's state that again. Drugs don't make you healthy, they make you not sick. Drugs don't make you healthy, they make you not sick. Now, of course, look, one other piece we have to point out: if you are really sick with a bacterial infection and you get antibiotics, yes, that can be the turning point, that can be the difference absolutely between life and death. But we're not talking primarily about those situations. The 99.9% of people who come to work with us with digestive issues and autoimmunity, they're not on the brink of death and a drug is necessary to pull them back, or they don't have something like a simple bacterial infection and we're able to go in with a drug and wipe it out and things are gone. That's not what we're dealing with. Here we're talking about chronic, long-term conditions like chronic digestive issues and, of course, autoimmunity. Specifically with autoimmunity, we have a whole range of drugs, and if you haven't, it was both tremendously interesting and terrifying to watch TV recently over the Christmas holidays and watch the commercials and just how many of the commercials were targeted at autoimmune disease. I saw dozens of commercials targeted things like psoriasis and other autoimmune diseases, all pimping drugs. And of course, those drugs all have significant side effects and major costs associated with them as well. That's, again, we come back to the fact that context matters. So those drugs, for those people with psoriasis and other autoimmune issues, we recognize that taking the drugs might be right for that person. The context of that person, what's going on for them, where they are in their lives, what's happening, taking the drugs might absolutely be the best choice for that person. And that's absolutely true. However, those drugs don't make that person healthy. They just make them not sick. They're not doing anything to address the underlying causes that are leading to that person's autoimmunity, the 10 steps that we talk about in the Aspire methods. Excuse me. So things like what that person is eating, over and over and over again this last decade plus that I've been working with people, we have people come to us from the gastroenterologist, that's a regular doctor specializing in digestion, or a rheumatologist, a regular doctor on joints, or dermatologist, a skin doctor, saying to patients that what they're eating has no effect whatsoever on their autoimmunity. And of course, that is just ludicrously ill-informed. 8 to 9 out of every 10 people see moderate to significant improvements in their autoimmunity by making changes to their diet. Are there a few people where it seems to not make much difference? Yes. Does that give even them license to just go out and binge on donuts and candy and ice cream? No, because it's not a factor that's building health. Simply taking drugs for autoimmunity or chronic digestive issues does not make someone healthy. It makes them less sick. And again, I just labor this point so much because there's a time and a place. Sometimes what we need to do is get someone not sick. The problem often when we get not sick is that our symptoms are mild or non-existent. And so our motivation to do the real work of addressing root causes of what's going on for a person often dries up. I've seen many people over the years, and we do a consult, we get an idea what's going on, and make some suggestions about what they need to do, and they let me know that they've decided that they're going to start medications. Fine. Again, everyone makes their own choice, maybe the best option for them at the moment, and then they swear up, down, and sideways that they are going to come back and address all of the other factors after they've gotten on medication. You want to take a guess how often that happens? Yeah, almost never, because they get on the drugs and they're feeling better, and then their motivation goes away. So one wonderful person I had a chance to work with for a short period of time was a gentleman who was suffering from what's known as mixed connective tissue disease, which is a very diffuse and hard to diagnose type of autoimmunity where the body is attacking its own tissue, causing a lot of pain and other symptoms. Sometimes it's relatively straightforward to get diagnosed, but often it's quite difficult. So this person had suffered for a number of years with a lot of problems. They had sun sensitivity, they had pains that were stopping them from doing a lot that they wanted in life, they had fatigue. Their life just wasn't that great. They were looking for that bigger and better life. After a consult, they decided that they were going to go ahead with medications. Again, fine. And they swore up, down, and sideways that once they were on medications, things had stabilized a little. For sure, 100%, no matter what, they would be back. They were totally open and willing to work on their lifestyle and their diet, take any supplements, vitamins, minerals, etc. that they needed, and do all of the other underlying work. Well, you can guess what happened. We followed up with them, and they were feeling so much better, they decided, nope, they didn't need that, even though they knew that the medications they were on were not intended for long-term use. In fact, one particular medication has been shown to build up and cause eye damage over time. It's not one that you could stay on for extended periods of time. Even knowing that, this person had decided that they were happy enough, for once they could eat what they wanted, not suffer any issues because of the drugs. The sun wasn't bothering them as much. Their energy was better, and they were hurting a lot less. So they just wanted to go on and get on with their life. And I totally understand that. The problem, of course, right? The drug didn't build health. It made them less sick. So listen, all this to say, drugs have their place. If you need drugs, please, by all means, use them. If you're on drugs and they're helping, please, by all means, use them. But understand that a drug doesn't build health. It makes you less sick. And that can be an important part of the healing journey. But once you're not sick anymore, even though your motivation has declined, it is doubly important to go back and work on building health. Otherwise, we're slapping a Band-Aid on top of a gaping wound and hoping that the Band-Aid doesn't come off, leaving us in a worse place than before we started. All right, folks, that is it for me today. Listen, have you had a chance to read my book yet? We're coming up on 2020. By the time this airs, it should be early in 2020. Now would be a great time to read my best-selling book. I'm immensely proud of it. It's called The Clear Path to Health. And in it, I take over 10 years of experience of working with patients, thousands upon thousands of hours of study and education, and literally hundreds of thousands of dollars of money spent learning all of the material, putting it in an easy to read and digestible format so that you can understand the principles behind what it takes to be healthy and the principles that make you sick. So even if you use medication, you're thinking about it, you're on it now, you still understand what is necessary to actually build health, not just be not sick. All you need to do to grab the book is go to aspirenaturalhealth.com/book. That's aspirenaturalhealth.com/book. Aspire, ASPIRE, naturalhealth.com/book, and you can pick it up today. All right, folks, until next time, take care.